Today, we review the certification exam Tanium Certified Specialist Cloud Deployment. Welcome back to Tanium Tech Talks. I'm your host, Ashley McGlone, and welcome to this installment of the Tanium Certification Series. Today's exam covers key knowledge for planning and deploying Tanium in the cloud. We're talking about the TCSCD exam. Yes, that's a mouthful, the Tanium Certified Specialist Cloud Deployment. Now, just like all the other exams in this video series, I've invited one of the experts who helped write the exam questions to give us an inside look at what's covered and to help you prepare for this exam. So help me welcome Gene for his first time on the show. Gene, please tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hey, Ashley, thanks. Yes, my name is Gene Fields. I am a senior support TAM here with Tanium. I've been here roughly a little over 3 years. During that time, I have become a SME and enforce, provision, deploy, patch, quite a few other modules that we offer. And I've helped with also writing a couple of the exams for certifications. And the cloud certification was one as well.
So you work in the support center. So this is really important for everybody watching the show to understand you're one of the people that helps answer their questions when they come in, right?
Yes, sir. Cases are opened. We take ownership of them, and we try to work there from cradle to grave, and ensure that the issues are resolved, and any other questions that may come up are addressed and assisted with as well.
Well, on behalf of all of our customers, Gene, and you and your team, I just want to say thank you for your service because that's crucial for everybody's survival out there. Thank you for what you do.
It's our pleasure.
Yep. So, for you specifically, what was your role in creating the cloud deployment exam?
It was a panel of us, and we went through some of the questions. We wrote some of the questions and reworded them for better clarification and assisted with some demos, some live demos that you will go through, navigating through the screens and making sure that the topics and the questions that were asked are beneficial for cloud management.
Perfect. I actually did this exam myself, and I'm trying to recall. I think I did it at CONVERGE. Been watching this show, right? You know I'm going to promote CONVERGE, especially with certification. It's a great place to go get your exams. I think I did this one. I'm pretty sure it was at the last CONVERGE. Yeah. So it was really a great experience there. So how can people get started, Gene, when they want to study for this exam? How do they know what to study?
If you go to Tanium's website, you can go to our certifications page. And on our certifications page, we actually list our certifications that you can register for. So here you can see that we have the Tanium Certified Cloud, Tanium Certified Specialist Cloud Deployment Exam. And you can click on the exam guide here. You'll be taken to our certifications outline here. What this will do is it gives you an outline of what's needed for the cloud deployment specialist. And as you can see, candidate profile, a good 6 to 9 months in familiarity with the administrative functions within the Tanium cloud, and at least 3 months using the cloud or deploying new Tanium cloud instances. So you'll want to be familiar with the cloud itself, navigating just to be familiar with it so that you know where you need to go. A prereq for the Tanium cloud specialist is the TCO. You can then begin, your training for Tanium Cloud. Then we have the recommended courses. You've got your working with Tanium Core plus the Tanium Cloud deployment itself.
All right, I got a question for you.
Yes,
So if
sir.
you scroll back up to the top, I want to just kind of frame it up from the very beginning here. So this is for people in that light gray text there, knowledge around qualifying, planning, setting up, operationalizing Tanium Cloud customer deployment. So I'm just thinking this is a cloud deployment exam. Is that really appropriate for everybody that uses Tanium?
If you are going to be an administrator of the Tanium Cloud, it is appropriate. You're going to want to know how your environment is going to be set up, how you're going to be planning your deployments, because that is knowledge within the Tanium console, setting up your modules, your deployments. If you have patch schedules, if you have maintenance windows, you're going to need to know all of that for Tanium Cloud.
Particularly like the identity management piece as
Oh,
well. This
yes.
is all really key for, like you said, for an administrator. Now, if I'm a kind of a departmental consumer of Tanium and using it from like an RBAC perspective where I'm not an administrator, probably not so much. But if you're, like you said, if you're Tanium admin, this is stuff you're really going to need to know.
Setting up your IDPs and things like that are done through your management portal, your cloud management portal, also known as a CMD. When you first register and get signed up and get Tanium Cloud, you will get an email. That email will go to the administrator account of the administrator that's given the rights to the cloud management portal. And then from there, when they log in, they will be able to set up their IDPs. They'll be able to set up maintenance windows, configure any type of modules, anything that they're looking for. So that CMP is where the administrator themselves are going to go. As for end users such as yourself and me, if we were to log in, we would just go to the Tanium console itself. And from there is where we could manage creating patch lists, deployments, deploying clients, packages, things like that.
So, for those of you who are watching who are used to the traditional Tanium console, this is the secret cloud console that only certain people get access to, right? So there's a different Tanium experience for that. So let's scroll down and take a look at the bullets in the exam blueprint here. And we're going to get into a demo in that in just a second. So let's get the overview first off. What do I need to know? All right.
Yeah, for your pre-deployment, you need to know your identity provider. So you need to know if you're your IDP. Are you Azure? Are you Okta? Are you Ping? What are you using for your authentication method? From there, you will then set it up within, like I said, the CMP. Then you need to know your architect, how you're doing your environment, how many endpoints you're going to be deploying to, what kind of traditional patching do you do, things like that. Then you're going to be given a scenario for your candidacy for Tanium Cloud. So we're going to go through and give you scenarios that you navigate through. We're going to ask you to, for example, set up your IDP. So you're going to go through and actually click on the screen setting up your IDP. Then you're going to be given the identity requirements to set that up, scenario to determine the appropriate compliance to make sure that you're understanding what is being set up. Make sure that you're not just going through and clicking. We want to make sure that when you're setting this up, because your IDP allows your end users to log into the Tanium console. If it's not set up properly, users aren't going to be able to log into your console. And then, that's going to become an issue because then you don't have access to patch, deploy modules, deploying clients, any type of management within the console. You don't have access to it. Then you do the Tanium cloud differentials versus non-cloud. What does on-prem have that cloud doesn't? What does cloud have that on-prem doesn't? So you need to know a little bit of the differences. Prime example, with Tanium Cloud, you do not actually update the modules. The modules are updated from the back end, and you have a maintenance window. So you can actually update to the latest version when it's deployed or when it's updated, or you can decide to defer a week, 2 weeks, whatever you would like. Whereas in on-prem, you would just go to solutions, choose the module, and click update. So Tanium Cloud is more, we manage it from the back end. We're responsible for uptime. We're responsible for the backups. We're responsible for making sure your instance is running, whereas on-prem, it's on your server, your network. So it's more on your side.
That was one of the interesting things about the exam, I recall. And again, it's been, I think, about a year and a half since I took it, but it was, yeah, this whole thing, kind of like you're a consultant advising a customer. And again, I'm not giving away any exam questions here, but I just remember it was like that kind of a scenario. It's like, so here's the requirements, which kind of environment matches those requirements, kind of thing.
Yes. Yeah. That's some of the questions that are on there. You're going to be asked, again, like you said, not giving away any questions. You're needing to update a module on Tanium Cloud. How is that done? And then you have to, go through, four possible answers and choose the correct one. So you have to know the difference, a little knowledge between on-prem versus cloud, and every bit of that is discussed in the training material. So when you take that Tanium Cloud deployment training class, it's mentioned in there. So we're going to make sure you know everything. We're not just going to throw it at you and expect you. We're going to make sure you understand it. Then you've got your deployment itself. So we've got a timeline that when you sign up and when you get your cloud instance, there is like a more of a spreadsheet, shall we say, that's got steps to make sure that you're setting up your deployments correctly within the timeline. So you've given proper procedures on how to set everything up. Then you're going to do your security exclusions in your firewall, whatever firewall or however you're managing your network. We want to make sure you've got those exclusions in there for Tanium Cloud or for the Tanium client, Windows updates. We want to make sure you've got everything set up to where it functions properly. Then you're going to, of course, like you mentioned, RBAC. You want to make sure that users have access to only what they need access to and nothing further. And for RBAC, we are going to be doing a training session, a tuning Tanium on that coming up. So that will be recorded as well. So users can go and view those on the website as well.
All right, so a quick commercial here for tuning Tanium. So some of these topics, we've got patch and RBAC topics on the Tanium Tech Talks as well. But if you want to go deeper, all right, you can't find this on our YouTube channel. You have to go to the Tanium Resource Center, help.tanium.com, and do a search for tuning Tanium, and there you'll see the posts on our Resource Center from previous recordings with show notes, and then the videos embedded in the page there. And you also will see a banner at the top of the Help Resource Center sometimes, and advertising there's an upcoming tuning Tanium. So you can sign up for the live version of it, or you can watch them after the fact. And I've heard a lot of rave reviews that it's really good content, because it's not me with my fancy blue background. These are people that Gene works with who are supporting this every day, telling you what you need to resolve some of those top issues. And RBAC is one of those that no matter how many times I look at it, I still need more help. So thank you for doing this RBAC one coming up. Yeah.
It'll be a great class. We're going to go through and give some demos of what needs to be done, setting up permissions for what. So yeah, that's a great plug for tuning Tanium. Thank you, Ashley. Then we're going to go through our computer groups are set up correctly, because the defaults, Windows servers. You want to make sure any custom computer groups that your environment needs, that they're set up properly. And then you want to deploy the client, the Tanium client, out to those endpoints for management. So that's really setting everything up within the cloud console itself. After that, then you have your post deployment, which is then future cases, like anything that you're going to need. For example, patch. Are you going to be doing patch Tuesdays on Tuesday, or are you going to be doing that patch a month later? Are you N-1? Do you have a time frame after patches are released for testing? So you can actually set up your patch lists and your patch deployments. Then you have your deploy module. Are you deploying out software from deploy? What software are you deploying? What groups do they go to? What endpoints? We want to make sure that you're targeting the proper computer group by tags, by name, however you've got that set up. And then, of course, the tools to gain visibility, being reports, any reporting that you need. Are you using those reports to give to management, to give to CISOs? Are you using Connect to email those reports out? Or is it just something that you've got set up as a question? You ask the question, export that report, and then provide that. We're going to make sure that when you are through setting up your cloud instance, that you hit the ground running, that you're ready to go. And of course, as you mentioned, support, we're here for any questions or any assistance that you need to assist with getting anything set up, such as reporting or deployment or anything like that.
So the way you're describing this, it sounds like there's actually both consoles on the exam. There's the cloud management portal and your typical Tanium console, two consoles in scope, and it probably pays to know which console does which capabilities here.
Yes, sir. Because your cloud management portal is just managing, like we said, your IDPs and your logins, or your egress, your network IPs. Whereas the Tanium console itself, this is your traditional console where you go in and, your modules, your users, your RBAC, computer groups, tags. So yes, there are two different consoles, or two different pages, shall we say. But as we discussed before, the cloud management portal is accessed by your administrator. So a everyday user in Tanium, like a departmental user, may not be able to get that cloud management portal. They only have access to the Tanium console itself.
Yeah, so I know we have training for this, and in that training, you'll get to see a simulated version of the console. So, Gene, maybe if you could just do a quick stop here on training and show us what classes are available. And I know they kind of inform us they're not an exact one-to-one for the exam necessarily, but it's going to get you most of what you need. So, can you show us what training options we've got?
So here again, if you go to help.tanium.com and click on training and certifications, scrolling down for training at Tanium, you can see the certifications where we just went to that has the Tanium Cloud outline that we just previously went over. However, you've got your course catalog. You can see all the courses that we offer for training at Tanium. Scrolling down to Tanium Cloud here, we actually offer a class that you can take. It's a full day. This cloud deployment is intended for partners deploying Tanium as a service known as Tanium Cloud now. It's a comprehensive hands-on course for planning, setting up, and optimizing and operating your Tanium Cloud instance. As we said before, the TCO is recommended because that's going to give you your base knowledge. So if you click on this link, Tanium Cloud Deployment, it's going to take you here to the course description. And this is a little more in depth than what we saw earlier. Here we've got the delivery options. It's done instructor-led, virtual, or web-based. So you've got the three options of what you're looking for, additional resources that we offer, and then a little more in-depth outline of what we're going to expect or what you're going to need to know for this certification. We give you the course objectives, the platform, the console, then the outline itself, like we mentioned earlier, the overview, the architect. Then you've got the qualifying a customer being endpoint deployment. Of course, the agreement. You've got to go through that agreement with us to get the Tanium Cloud. Then you've got the license, things that are beyond or past support that we don't mess with really. But you need to know that in order to get your Tanium Cloud instance set up. Then you've got your responsibilities. What are you responsible for on your side versus what we're responsible for? Then you've got the deployment timeline and planned, which is what we were doing over earlier, setting it up, figuring out, your deployments, how you're setting everything up in there, the requirements that are needed being the security exclusions, antivirus, what are you using for antivirus? Are you using McAfee? Are you using, CrowdStrike? What are you using? So we need to make sure that everything is set up properly so that the cloud functions. Yes, sir.
Yeah, so I'm just thinking between the exam blueprint and this training bullet list. Now, our training and certification team tells us that we can't promise that it's exact one-to-one, that everything in both lists are going to match up, right? So you still need hands-on, right? You still got to have experience. But between these two guides, that's going to give you a really good list of things to make sure you've got hands-on, and the training goes along with it. So we've got that option. Now, we've been talking for a while, Gene, and we haven't shown any console yet. I know people can't wait to see this secret console that most of them don't get to see. Can you take us into the cloud management portal and demo maybe? We don't have time to cover everything, but maybe just show us one or two quick points for us there to be aware of.
So this is your CMP, your cloud management portal. Once you log in, it's going to take you to the homepage here. From here, you've got your administration, your environment, and your network egress. Getting started, this is what you're going to go through when you first log in. You're going to set up your IDP, of course, before you can even log in. Once that is set up, you've got your users. You can update the settings for your users and your custom maintenance window. This custom maintenance window, don't get confused with patch. This custom maintenance window is what you're going to use and set up for updates to the modules. So when we release an update to patch deploy any of our modules, you have the option of going in and, like we said, setting those up to where they can be postponed to where you don't get them automatically. Then you've got security exceptions, roles, RBAC. When you deploy your cloud or deploy the client to your endpoints, and then using the platform solutions. More training as well, making sure you understand from the management side. Your environment, we give you your environment status. We're going to tell you that this is what everything's functioning as it should be when it was updated, the activities. We're going to let you see the modules that you have installed and what their status is. Make sure everything's up and running. Then you've got your network egress. Something really important to understand with the egress is this is how you're going to set up IPs that are allowed. So, for example, Connect. When you want to do something with Connect, sending an email report, and you want it to go through Splunk, you want to make sure you've got that set up in here. Again, also making sure you've got like your Windows updates, any sites that you pull from Windows updates, make sure that they're in here. This egress is what's going to allow external IPs to come through. And adding those is very simple. You just click add. In our demo, we can't add those for security purposes on our side, but as a CMP, when you log in, you will have the option to add or import IPs that you've had before.
I know that's a good quick sample, and I like that particular home screen in the cloud management portal. That it's literally like a walkthrough.
Exactly.
Click here, make sure you look at this. Here's your documentation. It kind of puts it all right there for you. So, from the exam standpoint, and I know we looked at the blueprint earlier, and there were some basic things like user and computer group management, RBAC. Obviously, that's going to be a part of TCO and TCA. I don't know that there's that much on TCO, but TCA, the team administrator, for sure, you're going to need that as well. So when you're studying for the exams, if you're doing the TCA, it's not that much extra here to take on the cloud deployment cert as well.
No, sir. I mean, if you're TCO and TCA, Tanium Cloud should be fairly simple for you because you know a good chunk of what needs to be known with RBAC, computer groups, everything. Really, you would want to touch on just the cloud side, being CMP or setting up the differences between cloud and on-prem. So yeah, TCA is going to touch on a lot of what you're going to want to know.
Yeah, could you take us over to the Tanium proper console and show us maybe just a quick tip there, something that people might not expect?
Very similar to the on-prem if you're familiar with on-prem. So you've got the new layout, our new Tanium server. So the sidebar now instead of having the menu at the top, but you've got just your normal layout. You've got your environment status, tells you how many endpoints you have, how many are online, the different type of operating systems that you have, and the modules you've installed, dashboards, reporting, things that we give you out of the box. So everything you're seeing here is pretty much out of the box. Then you've got your modules. When you install or purchase modules that are included in your license, you will see them here. One thing to really note is what are the differences between on-prem and cloud. For example, if we go to patch overview, with on-prem, you know what version you're on because you can go up to the corner here and you've got the information, the icon. With cloud, you don't have that. So that's where the cloud management portal comes into perspective because the cloud management portal is going to show you what version you're on versus what being on-prem. You can just go to the I and then see the version. That's one difference that would be expected with cloud, for example. And no,
That's a sneaky tip. Yeah,
that is
that's a good
still
way
not
to
on the
tell.
exam. But I mean, so you've got your modules, then you've got your data, some of your reports. Again, these are out of the box reports, but from here you can go and create a report, choose what you're looking for, browse through it. If you're looking for something with, uh, cloud, we'll give you your cloud instance ID, the image, information on your cloud, so you can run a report on that. But any modules that you have or any type of information you're looking for, your network, operating systems, anything like that, you can create a report on. Then you've got your administration panel or your administration section within the cloud management portal. Here, permissions, users, you got your personas, computer groups, user groups, RBAC. That's where you're going to want to set this up. You got, of course, your scheduled actions, your sensors, and your normal information that would be within the client console. Big one is the cloud stat or the client status. Client status is going to let you know, for example, what versions of the client you have on, what clients are currently online. You can filter those down just by typing in the filter and you filtering on the host name. You can filter on host name, computer ID, network. Any column here really can be filtered on. Also within the administration, your actions, any actions that are being set up, scheduled actions. A big one also, Ashley, that recently came into play, bandwidth throttles, because with the new release, bandwidth throttles. So this is something that you'll want to be familiar with, knowing how to set up a bandwidth throttle. If you're looking to get 600 meg pipe for your Tanium client or your downloads, how to set that up. So you'll want to make sure this is set up properly, because we have seen instances where customers are not getting the data that they should get. The Tanium clients aren't installing in enough time, or patches aren't being installed, when during the maintenance window. It's because the throttles, they've set the throttle too low to where those patches can't download and install. So you want to make sure the throttles are set up as they need to be.
Well, Gene, this is a fantastic tour. We're running out of time here. Any closing thoughts as we wrap up?
Definitely go to help.tanium.com. Go through all the training material that we offer. We offer a ton of training material, but definitely the Tanium cloud deployment, you'll want to go through that. You'll want to also, one thing that we do offer that everyone has access to is our doc. So we actually have step-by-step here setting up with the Tanium cloud as well. And of course, your IDP. So this gives you screenshots of what setting up your IDP would look like. And like we said before, Azure, Cloud, Okta, Ping, whatever you're using, step-by-step information on setting up that IDP for you. We tell you what to copy and what it should look like to make sure that everything is set up properly. So really, between the training and our docs, getting the certification should really be something that is pretty simple. I loved it. It was great setting up the exam. I'm glad you took it, so you know exactly what it feels like. And I'm sure being CONVERGE, did you get the nice little Texas pin?
I did. Yes,
Yeah.
it was a great experience.
So yeah, between the docs and help, or the training and help, it should be very easy to go through and get familiar with cloud and get certified.
Yep. Training, help, hands-on. And yeah, what a novel idea. Read the documentation. Yep, that's going to help for sure. So help.tanium.com is your one-stop shop for all these resources. There's the training and certification link. There's the docs there. So that wraps up this installment of the certification series on the Tanium Certified Specialist Cloud Deployment. Yes, that's a mouthful. And again, it's not maybe for every user of Tanium, but if you're an administrator or a partner who's deploying Tanium, you really need to know this one. And it's deployment's in the name of the exam, right? However, this is something that you're going to have to go into from time to time as a Tanium administrator. Like he mentioned, those egress URLs, IPs, things like that. You're going to need to work with your network team because things come up from time to time. So you will be in that cloud management console as a Tanium administrator. It's just good to know. So Gene, thank you for supporting our customers, and thank you for this tour today. And folks, that wraps it up. So until next time, go Tanium.